So question J, and as you can see, the left hand side where the x square is bigger than or larger than 5. So the x square side, that's the most important thing, the x square side is larger than the other side. So that means when we draw a number line, and there's also equal sign this time, don't forget, so it will be shaded and it will be two arrows going up like this instead of like this. Also, rather than having an answer like this where we'll have something here, let's call it A, let's call that B, the answer will be different. It will have a comma in between. So we'll write x is equal to something and then comma x is like this, okay, something along those lines. Okay, so it will not be of this form, it will not be of this form, sorry, it will be of this, it will not be of this form here. So because we want the x square is on, we have to get rid of this -4 first. So we have to add 4 to both sides. So when you add 4 to both sides, you have x square is greater than or equal to 9, because that plus 1 and -4 is cancelled out. Now don't forget, x square equals 9 has two solutions, x is equal to 3 and x is equal to -3. The positive solution is quite easy. If we square root both sides, we get x3 and we just copy the sign down. But for the negative solution, we have to write x -3, but we flip the sign, and the final answer is going to be x is equal to or greater than 3, comma x is equal to or less than -3. And how do you draw the number line? Now because I can see 3 here, right, 3 there, and because I can see -3 here, -3, so we draw a circle above, and because they both have equals, we're going to shade them in. So this side tells me x has to be equal to or greater than 3, so my arrow will go like this, and this side tells me x has to be equal to or less than -3, so the arrow will go like this, and that's the final solution. So this bit here is a solution to the equation, and this bit here is how we draw it on a number line, the inequality on a number line. Question K. So to get the x squared and so on, first of all, we have to get rid of this -1 on both sides. So we have to add 1 to both sides. So we're going to get rid of the -1. We're going to add 1 to both sides. So now by adding 1 to both sides, on the right hand side we'll have 7 add 1, which is 8. On the right hand side, the -1 plus 1 cancels out, leaving us 2x squared, and we just copy the sign down. Now to get the x squared on its own, we have to get rid of this ×2 on the left hand side, this ×2 here. So we do that by dividing both sides by 2. So divide the left side by 2, divide the right side by 2. So now on the right hand side of 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4, and on the left hand side ×2 and divide 2 cancels out with just x squared, just copy the sign down. Now remember that x squared is equal to 4 has two solutions, x is equal to +2 and x is equal to -2. So when you square root 4, you'll get +2 and -2. The positive one's easy, you just copy the sign down, so x like that, square root to both sides. But for the negative one, remember you'll have to flip the sign. And this time round the x squared side was larger, so we're going to separate the answer out with a comma. So this bit here tells me that x has to be less than -2, and then we do comma, and that bit tells me x has to be greater than 2, so x has to be greater than 2. So we write it like this. So now because I can see -2 and I can see 2 there, on my number line I write 2 and -2. There's no equal sign, so they're open circles. Now this here tells me that x has to be less than -2, so the arrow will go like this. X has to be less than -2, and this side tells me x has to be greater than 2, so the arrow will go like this. Maybe my line should be a bit longer, like this. So here is the solution with a comma, and here is the solution on the number line. With the next question, to get the x squared and so on, first thing we have to do is get rid of this -5. So we want to add 5 to both sides. When you add 5 to both sides, on the right hand side, 22 add 5 is 27. On the left hand side, -5 and +5 cancels out, leaving with just 3x squared, and then copy the sign down. Now to get the x on its own, we have to get rid of this ×3 here. To do that, we have to divide by 3 on the left, divide by 3 on the right. So on the right hand side, 27 divided by 3 is 9. On the left hand side, the ×3 and the divide 2 cancels out, leaving with just x squared, and you copy the sign down. Now don't forget, x squared equals 9 has two solutions. One solution is that x squared, x is equal to 3, and the other one is x is equal to -3. So we write solution like this. So first of all, we can see that x, the positive solution would be x is less than 3, and for the negative solution, x has to be greater than -3. So swap the sign for the negative solution. So because x has to be greater than -3, we can write it like this. X has to be greater than -3. So that's that bit done. And then we can see x has to be less than 3. So x has to be less than 3. Like that. And then on a number line, because I can see -3, I want to write -3, and because I can see +3, I want to write +3. And because x has to be less than 3, it's going to be arrow going this way, so that's that bit done. And then for this bit here, x has to be greater than -3, so the arrow has to go this way. And because there are no equal sign, we're going to leave the arrow, the circles, open. So that's the final answer. So this is how we write the solution, and this is how we do it on the number line. So for question M, we want to get our x squared on. So the first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of the +3. So to get rid of the +3, we have to take away 3 from the left, we have to take away 3 from the right. So on the right hand side, 8 take away 3 is just 5. And on the left hand side, the plus and minus cancels out, leaving me with just 5x squared. And we'll just copy the sign down. And now to get the x on its own, we have to get rid of this ×5. So to divide by 5 on both sides. So now on the left hand side, the ×5 and the divide 5 cancels out, leaving me with just x squared. And on the right hand side, 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now don't forget that x squared equals to 1 has two solutions. When you square root it, you get x is equal to 1 or x is equal to -1. So we know that the positive solution is just going to be x is equal to or less than 1, and the positive solution is going to be x is, so and the negative solution is going to be with the sign flipped like this. So x has to be greater than or equal to minus 1. So how do we show our solution? Well, because I can see x has to be greater or equal to minus 1, I can write it like this. X has to be greater than or equal to minus 1. So that's that bit done. And we can see that in this bit here, x has to be less than or equal to 1. So just copy that down. So this is how you show the solution. So our solution, I'll write it a bit more neatly. X has to be equal to or less than 1, or x has to be greater than or equal to minus 1. Now how do you show that on a number line? So because I can see minus 1, I'll have a minus 1 on a number line. And when I can see 1, I'll have a 1 number line. So this bit here tells me x has to be equal to or less than 1. So put a circle there and shade it in with there's an equal sign there, and the arrow will come this way. And this side here tells me x has to be greater than or equal to minus 1. So because greater than or equal to, arrow goes like that. So because greater, my arrow should be going this way. That will be the solution on the number line.